The thing that could kill you the easiest is gas and electric. They need to be sorted first by a professional and then try and do everything else.
When a homeowner is looking to move property, buy a new house, and they walk around, what are like the telltale signs of the stuff they need to look out for to know and understand, are these electrics sound? Do I need a house rewire? What are the considerations?
So when you first walk in, without like pulling sockets and switches off, because realistically it just should be sparks that do that. Most of the time, if there's a single socket in each bedroom, that's a massive telltale sign that the electrics haven't been touched for 35, 40 years plus. That was always the way. It was when they were built, people didn't have smartphones and TVs to plug in the bedrooms. It was normally just a single socket up out the way. That's one of them. The old Bakelite light switches, so the old brown ones with literally a sticking out switch.
Yeah.
That's a telltale sign. Or not in here, but we've got a ceiling rose pendant and it has corded physical material on the outside, like fabric. That's another telltale sign. It's an old wiring system. Rewirable fuse board, you've got wooden back fuse board. If that hasn't been changed, realistically the wiring in the house hasn't been touched either. They're 40 years plus, I would say, get it looked at. I think if you're ever walking in, you're realising a few of those things that we've mentioned without unscrewing stuff, get a spark in, just have a walk around, do a little check. Even if it's just a visual one, they'll be able to pull a few things off. Because one of the things that you won't be able to see that could easily be in the floor or ceiling is the old VIR rubber cable, which over time, it was great when it was fitted, but over the time as it's heated up, it becomes so brittle. When it's in the floor, the outer sheath and the inner sheath just fall off and you actually have like bare conductors just sat in ceiling voids.
Oh wow.
Where if you were just to stick your hand up in the loft hatch and let's say, which it easily is, the cables will run next to it.
Exposed. It
will get you, especially if you've got an old rewirable board, it won't trip if you were to get it the wrong cable and whatnot. If someone had stuck a nail in the fuse board, which they used to, or foil or anything like that, the only thing protecting you would be that fuse board, which isn't safe anyway. So you would literally just be clung onto it until the worst happened.
Talking about being safe, what is the risk of having poor electrics in a property?
Several. House fires, very common in old wiring. You've only got to get like rats as well that would join through it. You've got risk of electric shock, not only on the wiring itself, but if your property hasn't got any water or gas bonding. So over time, what we would do, on a newer installation, we would have a 10mm water bonding, an earth cable that goes down to your main water stop tap and into your gas. That means all the copper pipework in the property is earthed. If you don't have that, and there's a cable, let's say under the sink or in the ceiling or something, where a live cable goes and touches a bare pipe, every single bit of pipework and metal will become live. Wow. So let's say you turn the tap on to get in the bath, that will be live, you'll be stuck to it. It's the same with the sink or anything like that. So water bonding, gas bonding needs to be a must. But yeah, risk of life, house fires, if not, just not a very nice electric shock when you touch something. So yeah, it's people do not understand. They spend all this money on getting the house looking nice, rendering it, spend thousands on painters and flooring and everything, but really you need to get back to basics. The thing that could kill you the easiest is gas and electric. They need to be sorted first by a professional and then try and do everything else.
And talk about professional, what's the accrediting body that homeowners should be looking out for? And when you're buying a property, what certification should come with a property so you know it's safe?
So there's a few things. So the governing bodies, I work under NAPIT, there's NAPIT, there's NIC, EIC, quite a few different ones. If you were to go on it, you can see it's a governing body that we work under. And then certification for the house, some will come with none, which is very standard. But most of the time when people are buying a property now, it's requested that they have an EICR done beforehand, which shows the homeowner, the people that are buying it, the condition of the electrics before they purchase it, to see if it needs a full rewiring, it's going to cost them £10,000, then it's £10,000 they can either knock off the purchase value or the homeowner gets it done beforehand. It's just these extra costs that people don't understand when you move into a property, because it's not just, oh, it's 10 grand to rewire it, then have to replaster it. Most of the time you have to put carpet down, then you have to paint it all. And then on top of it, it's the upheaval of being in a new property and then I'll be able to live there for, let's say, 2 weeks. It's a massive stress, so always get a test done beforehand, or if there's already documentation that you can have. So if it's already been rewired, you will have a brand new electrical installation certificate, and you should have notification to building control so you can check on the portal online who's done it, where they were done it, all that sort of stuff. So if you just type in your house, I think it's portal, I can't quite remember now. I've never
we'll
checked
link it
myself.
up.
Yeah, check on the portal, you can see when the property had this notification to the building control, what the work was and who did it. And sort of dated and everything. So.
And you mentioned some rough costs, and I know it's not easy to sort of say a 2 up, 2 down is this much, but if you had to ballpark it,
yeah,
for common house, 2 up, 2 down, how much should someone be looking for a full house rewire?
This is based around Staffordshire, where I'm from and whatnot. Be completely different everywhere else. I would say, being VAT registered as well, you're probably looking at £5,000 plus the VAT for a couple of spotlights, you know, good amount of sockets in the rooms and whatnot. That would sort of be the ballpark figure. But then if you start changing stuff to brushed chrome stuff, USB sockets everywhere, the price just absolutely rockets and goes silly. Especially people should be fitting RCBO boards now. I would say that to regulation, people can still fit split load. So the difference between the two is a new one is an RCBO, so you have an MC, every breaker in it, if there's ever one fault in the entire house, on one circuit, sorry, it would only ever trip one breaker. On the older boards, if it would trip, sometimes you lose the whole board or half of it. So really to regs, these should be fitted now. Some people are still fitting the split loads of 17th edition ones. They're sort of getting away with it for now, but if you're having a new board installed, it should be metal. To my knowledge, it should be an RCBA board, and on top of it, I should have a little orange SPD as well, which isn't in yet to say it has to be, but most of the boards come with them now, and it's a bit of extra protection of surge, so if there's anything coming up the line, it protects all your valuable equipment.